Happy Saturday afternoon, everyone. Having a great weekend so far. And my name is Don Terrell, and I want to welcome you to another great episode of The Color of Motion, where I like to say stories come in all shades. And I highlight people of diverse backgrounds and people of color in the industry of motion graphics, animation, visual effects, cartoons, and comics. And I like to, like I said, really highlight people's stories and journeys. I want to thank you for joining me today. Super excited about the show and been looking forward to having my guest on for a while. So, hope you enjoy the show. I hope everything is going well with you so far. Just making sure of a few housekeeping things for sure. Having a little technical difficulties with my guest logging in. So please bear with me. And, yeah. I'm just sending him a message. He's in, but his camera and video isn't working. So, making sure. Okay. All right. Always some technical difficulties. And as I like to say, doing live streaming, you just kind of have to roll with it for sure, which you try and mitigate, but always something tends to come up for sure. Uh, just so you know, little housekeeping, make sure that you join the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/ the color of motion. Uh, let me see. Facebook, Mr. Wilkins, I appreciate you joining and tuning in. Let me make this a little larger so we can see. Appreciate you tuning in there, Mr. Wilkins, for sure. I hope everything is going well with you. Again, make sure that you join the Facebook community, facebook.com/groups/ the color of motion. The group is and the community is up and going. We're already starting to get people into the group for sure. But I definitely want to make sure that you're plugged in because I think next week is, and he just fell out again. I think next week is the last episode that I'm going to be broadcasting from my page, and moving forward, it's going to be broadcast. The show's going to be broadcast from the group page. So I definitely want to make sure that you are plugged in and not to miss any upcoming episodes for sure. We got a lot of great things planned for the show. Like I said, the Facebook group is up and going. Make sure you jump in, get engaged. Our new site is coming up in the next couple of weeks for the show, so definitely want to make sure that you check out the website when it gets up. What else do we got planned? A lot of swag items planned for the show, so that's another thing that we're going to be implementing for sure. Let me make sure. And you'll forgive me. I'm messaging the guest. He keeps dropping in and out of the green room. Okay. All right. Like I said, some swag items. We're going to be implementing, doing some giveaways, contests, giving the guests swag items for sure. Also, the Instagram page we're going to have is going to be up and going. So, always looking for sponsors as well. Make sure that you get connected with me on all my social channels here. You see coming up. Make sure you follow and connect with me on all my social channels. Definitely want to get connected with you, hear from you, have you be a part of the community for sure. And don't want you to, again, miss out on anything as well. Like I said, I seem to be having, if you are tuning in from, trying to tune in from LinkedIn, let me know. It seems like I'm looking at the dashboard. LinkedIn, again, is having issues dropping the broadcast. So I don't know if it's staying up on LinkedIn. It says it's online and it drops out. So LinkedIn seems to always kind of have an issue with things. But again, the show is broadcast on LinkedIn, Facebook, and my YouTube channel. But if you are one of those ones that tends to check the show out on Facebook or LinkedIn, I always highly kind of suggest, I guess, to get connected with me on the YouTube channel. Give a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell notification. You can find it at youtube.com/Don Terrell for sure. Again, we're working hard to level up the show, so we're constantly looking for sponsors that continue to do that. Also, if you are so inclined to support the show, there is a tip jar set up, so you can drop a few dollars or coins in the tip jar. Don Terrell 65 Cash App you can find. You can scan the barcode, QR code. I don't keep saying barcode, but the QR code and donate as well. Again, I'll be throwing all this information up again towards the end of the show. Like I said, I'm a little disappointed that LinkedIn is having issues. Every once in a while, it seems to give me issues for some reason. Not sure why, but you kind of have to roll with it as it comes. But again, I hope everybody is having a great weekend. I'm super excited to sit down with my next guest. Been looking forward to it for a while now. Again, jump on. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I see a couple of viewers from YouTube checking out the show. See one from Facebook checking out the show. Hopefully you're checking out the show from the new group page. Like I said, it seems LinkedIn wants to give me issues today. So I'm not sure whether there'll be a broadcast on LinkedIn. I may. If there isn't, I'll probably rebroadcast it on LinkedIn if there isn't a live broadcast that shows up. So, not to worry, my LinkedIn viewers. If you don't jump on over to either my Facebook page or the group page or my YouTube channel, you can check out the show. I'll probably rebroadcast it on LinkedIn. For sure. That's all the new things that are kind of coming up for the show. Let's try and dive into this episode. Like I said, I'm super excited. Had a chance to connect with this brother a little while ago, my brother from Jamaica. So super excited to sit down and talk with him. Super talented. But uh, before I'll go ahead and kind of read his background. And after that, we could check out a little bit of his work there. My next guest is from the beautiful island of St. Catherine, Jamaica, and is a visual multimedia artist and 3D generalist. He started very early on and had mentors that helped to guide him through his development. He started his own company, RD Multimedia Studios, which is a full service multimedia studio providing all the key creative elements for any design or advertising campaign, such as 2D, 3D design, photography, which you're going to see. He does some awesome photography work as well. Video and motion graphics, animation, illustration, and typography. Let's take a little look at some of his work before we bring him on.
Uh-oh.
Everybody, please help me welcome my very special guest and friend, Mr. Raul Dunkley.
Hey, what's up, Don? What's up?
What is going on, my brother? My brother, how are you?
Just chilling on the island, as usual.
I kind of wish I was there myself.
Just a little bit of rain today, but it's the usual tropical itself, sunny and nice. Yes.
We'll take that. We'll take that. Well, like I said, super, super excited to have you on there, Raul. And been looking forward to this for a while.
Yes, bro.
Getting you on the show and connecting with you. So how's everything going with you down in the islands there?
Well, I'm cool. Recently started some teaching, so I have about 2 months of that to do. Then I'm back to my old self,
Gotcha.
But it's good to give back and share, and the students are excited. So that's one of the latest things I have on the desk.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And we're gonna dive into that because
Of course.
that was a thing that I started realizing early, that the industry is really starting to grow in Jamaica.
Yes.
And had a chance a couple of months ago. I think and I'm not sure if you went to it, but the Kingston
Yeah, man.
Animation Festival,
Yes.
and got a chance to check out a lot of what's going on
Yes.
down in Jamaica.
Yes. And the Kingston, that program, which is the Yeti program, I was a part of that program as well.
Yeah.
So I've done several courses that they offered, mentors that they brought in. I've done all the workshops possible that I was allowed to do.
Yeah.
And so it's a good program. We finished up last with Anim School, which was a scholarship given out. And so I did well in that as well.
Awesome.
As well as a few other colleagues,
Gotcha.
We keep close.
Awesome. Well, I'm curious. I mean, you like I read in your bio, you started earlier, but what was it that kind of got you into just animation and graphics at an early age? I mean, what was it that sparked it for you?
Well, I really don't know, but I know, yeah, as soon as I was out of my mom's belly, I've been pushing pencils. That's what I can tell you for sure, though. So, what my mom did at a very early age, which was very smart of her, she couldn't handle the amount of drawing and creative work I was doing. So, what she did, I mean, at very early age, what she did was to put me on to teachers in the art department because she's an educator. So, she would carry me to school with her in the mornings very early. And so, I did a double shift since I was a kid. I've been doing full days.
Hmm.
So what I did, she would leave me with the art teacher in the art room, and everything started from there.
Gotcha,
You know,
gotcha.
so one of my very earliest mentors would have been Mr. Winston Pedley. So he would have to lift me and put me on a little stool, and then I'd be drawing and doing all the processes, learning how to do craft, cutting leather, all that stuff when I was just a young boy.
Awesome.
And so that was my first main mentorship. Then it moved on to Mr. Grant and did CXCs early and all that good stuff. And
Gotcha.
I kept having different mentors, for video photography. Photography, that would be Marco De Florio. He
Yeah.
lives in Virginia. He does some business with Mutual Life in terms of insurance, but he's one of my main mentors for photography.
Gotcha.
So I've had
Gotcha.
all types of mentors.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, obviously, like I said, your mother really kind of played a key role in sparking that kind of keeping the passion going for you. Do you
Yes.
feel like
Yes.
that's a challenge for most youth over in Jamaica or not?
It is. What we have, the heredity in terms of the society, doesn't treat art as what it is or what it means as in Asia, Europe, etc.
Yeah.
Right? It's not treated on that high level of as a profession or as serious investment as in the creative arts and what it is.
Yeah.
It's not treated like that. So we're uneducated in terms of our heredity.
Yeah.
Of recent years, this has been coming into its own. More people are realizing that there's so many professions within the creative
Yeah.
that I mean, if I begin to list, we would end the program still
Yeah.
listing. So they're learning now that
Yeah.
there's professionalism. There are designers who they're scientific.
Yeah.
So we do illustrations for you know
Yeah.
books that are in medicine, etc.
Yeah.
They are realizing that we're doing publishing. Illustrators and designers, very important for publishing. That's
Yeah.
daily.
Yeah.
The clothes we wear,
Yeah.
our environment, the
Yeah.
architects.
Yeah.
So it's the industry is so wide, it's
Yeah.
so broad that we're beginning to learn
Yeah.
what it really is, and that it's that the options in terms of how you can be employed are so much.
Yeah.
And I think Jamaica is realizing that the government has jumped on board to
Yeah.
support animation. Remember, your own Floyd was here back in the 80s. We
Yeah.
used to have a lot of those animated commercials on TV. The industry, I won't go into the background of what really happened, but he had to leave.
Hmm.
See? And
Yeah.
some of our earlier guys who got that experience with him and the company they were trying to build to push animation
Yeah.
didn't happen. But that was the government lacking the intelligence and vision of
Yeah.
what animation is and what it would have become.
Yeah. Yeah.
See?
And that was
So,
something that I really kind of picked up on through
yes.
the animation festival that the
Yes.
government is really starting to get behind a lot of the
Yes.
industry, and now you're starting to see a lot of studios start to really come there, put schooling in place to give
Yes.
people, the younger people, and just people in general, more exposure to, like you said, all the different things that are going on, whether it be animation, video production. And
Right.
it really was inspiring listening to the panels and just seeing how, like I said, Jamaica was it was really starting to take hold in Jamaica.
Yes. Yes. And the universities. which is UTech, which is one of our main university and one of the foundation universities, UE.
Yeah.
Also another university. This is separate of the art school, which is the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts, which houses four main parts of creative, which is
Yeah.
the performing arts, music, drama, and the visual arts.
Yeah.
That's a main school here. It was the main school in the Caribbean once, should still be. And so, I mean, Trinidad has been rising in terms of animation and a few other islands,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Jamaica was the main hub of teaching and certifying various people who attended.
Yeah.
And then they would go back to their island and continue the arts.
Gotcha.
So, yes.
Well, you're gonna start to see. I mean, I'm assuming you're expecting to see a lot more um, I guess, mainstay of just island creatives starting to come to the forefront. I mean, you
Yes.
being there, you've always known that there have been creative people there,
Yes.
whether it be in
Yes.
music, but now you're going to start to see a lot of people start to come to the forefront.
Parts of the industry had evolved. You have like the J Will, and many other video editors and creators, and also people who are doing commercials, etc. So we had a few media companies. So multimedia and film had had been going for a while, had gotten to a level, and had been improving as the industry changes. They have improved with equipment and techniques.
Yeah.
But that has always been going on. Where it is for the 2D animation and the 3D animation now, as the industries, we're catching on and hanging on to that.
Yeah.
We have been doing skill. We had the skills, and we have been doing stuff in 2D, limited stuff in 3D over the years, in little
Yeah.
bits and parts, but now we're getting around to more full productions, which
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
will see more of that happening now. People are working on their pilots, and people have their little short 2D animation
Yeah.
film and
Yeah.
3D, and we push these into festivals, and
Yeah.
we have had good outcomes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now it's to pick up contracts and to also bridge, because as I went into an interview some years ago, I realized that we're still dormant mentally and understanding that this industry is not really competition. We're supposed to be a wing, as
Yeah.
in Jamaica being a wing or a branch within the whole system that
Yeah.
creates a movie or a feature film. We're supposed to be a branch within that whole
Yeah.
project,
Yeah.
you see, and we're not realizing that. So there's still some more unlearning to do of the advertising mentality
Yeah.
of competition.
Yeah.
The animation industry is more tightly knit, and it's really just an expansion and expanding as far as it can expand,
Yeah.
to have many people involved to produce a great film.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where we're learning, and we will get there,
Yeah.
but it takes time. But we have to integrate, and we have to learn to go across borders now. What we can pick up, we
Yeah.
pick up, bring in who we can make connections with.
Yeah.
We make those connections and see if we can grow.
Yeah.
So it would be like a Canada coming up, India coming up. Those industries aren't very old. I don't
Yeah.
think most people know that,
Yeah.
but they're on a level now where DNEG and those companies,
Yeah.
EA Games, they're doing well in Canada, as
Yeah.
well as they have other
Yeah.
geographies that they're located. So this is where I'd like to see Jamaica eventually. We can get there.
Yeah.
We have the skill. We have some of our own people are in those same industries and in those companies doing
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. It
So I have a
actually,
few that I'm going to introduce to you.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
funny
So,
that you said that
so
because actually, and I'm not sure if you may know him, and he was a guest on my show some months
yeah,
ago.
that's an
Super
old Jago
talented
colleague.
Wayne
Yeah.
Carnegie. Oh
We
man,
went to the
super,
same.
yeah, super
Yeah, we went to the
talented.
same high school.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
love that brother. Super
But I
talented.
was
Man.
like about 5 years before him or so. So yeah, I pushed out. So he became one of the main men at school doing his
Yeah,
illustrations. And Jamaica has a win, which the students, kids, they
Yeah.
have a way in which they'll never forget you
Yeah.
once you are performing well in your art.
Yeah.
And so you would be the main man on school or campus doing all the little posters and such.
Yeah.
So Wayne would have come through that same system. I was before, there were people before me, then, he would took on that role in
Yeah, man.
school. So yeah, we went to
Yeah.
the same high school, then he went to Canada, you know?
Yeah. And Wayne,
Yeah, and
if
that's
you're checking out the episode, we're talking about you,
yeah,
brother. Like
Wayne
I said,
Carnegie. Yeah,
love
great.
Wayne, love Wayne.
Yes.
Well, and to that point, I mean, obviously, the
I keep in
people,
touch with Wayne in
yeah.
case you want to know. We always have dialogue on all our different medias that we're
Oh
on.
yeah,
When
he
he's
like I said,
illustrating,
he
I go
pushed the
watch. And
show and the
mhm.
episode, so I know you keep in touch with him for sure. So Wayne, definitely looking forward to having you back on the show, brother.
Yeah, man.
Um, and my point was, obviously, over in Jamaica, you've uh, everybody's been aware of the social issues that's been going on here that we went through
Yes.
last year. Do you feel like, and I think that's kind of unfortunate. I always say that it took that for studios to really start to embrace and really push forward a lot faster diversity and really starting to show diverse content. But do you feel like that's going to speed it up even more for companies coming over to Jamaica, like Disney, Netflix, and all the other studios really coming over and giving a school, a class, and courses to Jamaicans that want to get into the industry?
Well, what I would say to that is we have been working on stuff, we have been doing things, we have had the great support from the World Bank, right? The government pitched behind the World Bank and started to learn and got on board. So the government is late.
Hmm.
So I'm not really here to present the government as in knowing what they were doing.
Yeah.
They were late,
Yeah.
but still they came on,
Yeah.
right? Which is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And so they have been learning and understanding how much of the talent we have here and how they need to get into it. They know the money's behind it now for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And so they're going to pull some legs on that. What I'd like to see here, though, we need policies, and we're short on creating policies that would favor people from abroad to come in and probably set up shop here and get us involved in parts of production they will maybe doing elsewhere,
Yeah.
right? So we need to set that bridge. That's where we're lacking.
Yeah.
It's lacking the education again of knowing how to network, and when we network, how we get this sorted in terms of government processes, whatever ministries are necessary to tie this up, so we have policies that are favorable for
Yeah.
tax breaks, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, we're under the IMF, so I think we're tied up right now. Where when we're bringing in equipment as artists, we have a little bit of a struggle. We have to pay an arm and a leg to get things through customs,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
not too good.
Yeah.
So there are kinks we have to work out
Yeah.
in order to get ourselves more suitable or favorable to get the kind of link we want.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to have the Disneys and such come in. The talent is here.
Yeah.
Disney, these companies would know that. They have
Yeah.
Jamaicans
Yeah.
working
They
there. They
know.
know.
Yeah.
But
They know.
we have to get things sorted on the ground from a ministry standpoint in
Yeah.
terms of whatever role politics will play, but
Yeah.
we have to sort that here
Yeah.
first. We
Yeah.
have the JAMPRO. JAMPRO still cannot move much until the government is aligned with it to say, okay, we need to put the policies in place so we can take in animation projects, or they can be a bridge between the Asia, North America, South America, etc. for
Yeah.
work. And we have to fix that. That's a gap and a hole that we're lingering in for too long.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm curious, what type of stories do you see coming out of Jamaica as far as like animations, like animated films
Well,
and shorts? I
it's
mean, obviously, Jamaica's got a rich
oh
culture and
man.
that culture. What type of stories would you like to see start to come out of, Jamaica?
Well, what I what I would like to say is we have many stories regarding our cultural origin. Out of many, one people. That's our motto. So we have so many different types of people that have evolved throughout Jamaica, that have come in over the centuries, I would say,
Yeah.
right, into present day. So we have a mixture of stories that can be told because our history is somewhat interfused now, and our culture is somewhat interfused. I'm a Rastafarian,
Yeah.
but we are not just Rastafarians only. We have a bit of Indian culture and vibe within us,
Yeah.
because things that the sadhus, as in India, would do with dreadlocks and
Yeah.
such, that's not just a Rastafarian thing and something that was new.
Yeah.
So we have bits and pieces of things that make us up as a people. We have the Maroons, another indigenous set of people. We have stories so much. The Tainos.
Yeah.
So remember, the English, the Spaniards came, but they saw the Tainos. They were here before. So the discovery talk, I'm not really into that. We
Yeah.
had people who discovered and were
Yeah. I
living here
mean,
doing the thing. They came as visitors.
yeah.
So
Hard to
those were
discover
early,
somewhere
yeah,
that,
those were
people
early
are already
visitors.
living.
Yeah.
So,
So that's early Europe coming in to full joy the island.
yeah.
Beautiful people, beautiful food, and
Yeah.
getting accustomed
Yeah.
to our environment, which they did, and they have been here for a few centuries. So
Yeah.
we have so much to talk about, so much stories to tell. The people, what we have evolved into, in terms of our dancehall or reggae, we have so much stories to tell, bro. And these are the newer things. The
Yeah.
mento, you
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
Ska,
Yeah.
we have so many things to talk about, and
Uh,
in each of these era we have fashion trending,
yeah.
food trending.
Yeah.
We're literally an entertainment country, a
Yeah.
nightlife and daytime country.
Yeah.
We're very loving people,
Yeah.
friendly. We like
Yeah.
to make people happy. So we have so many and this is not just about Jamaica. The Caribbean on a whole,
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
tropical region,
Yeah.
is all about the same things I'm saying that we could
Yeah.
say about Jamaica.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's funny, like I said, I got such a better and clearer appreciation for the culture. Some years ago,
Yes.
I used to do T-shirt printing, and
Awesome.
the guy I worked for was from Trinidad, and so he
Cool.
sold like soca music, reggae,
Yes.
all that
See?
kind of music, plus did sheet T-shirts, and
Yes.
just his friends were from, like I said, St. Lucia, Barbados, and
Yes.
all the people coming in. So it was just such an interesting mixture
Yes.
of culture and people that it was just amazing.
In the 90s, I was a t-shirt designer. I used to design a lot of designs for t-shirts. I was an illustrator producing lots of
Yeah,
illustrations and would do stuff with rastas. The music again, as you say.
yeah,
So you see, there's so much.
yeah,
We have the music, we have the creative side of things as in the craft, we have the culture as in the fashion, we have the liberty as in the indigenous types of people. We have so many stories. Then we have the folklore.
yeah,
Remember, we have lots of folklore in the
yeah,
Caribbean.
yeah,
Jamaica has tons of it.
yeah,
Okay, so stories and ideas are endless to present.
yeah,
Our famous Port Royal. I mean, worldwide,
yeah,
globally, many
yeah,
people have done stuff with Port Royal, but
yeah,
we can still bring a spin on Port Royal as a city, which was Sin City or
yeah,
Pirate City,
yeah,
most famous city in the world known.
yeah,
The earthquake destroyed it several years ago, but it's now here with artifacts and old buildings still.
yeah,
It's a historical spot. So still, we can do something as Port Royal, but from a Jamaican perspective, as in a feature film, 2D animated feature film, or
yeah,
3D. So
yeah.
it's endless what we can do because we haven't really told our own stories as
No,
yet.
yeah, and that's what
So
really
other
kind of,
people have begun,
yeah,
but we can now tell the story from a Jamaican point of view or
yeah,
from the Caribbean perspective
yeah.
within 2D, 3D, feature animated film, or film.
And that's what I really loved about the animation festival, seeing all the animated shorts that people were doing was just so interesting. Seeing their
Yes,
perspective and their stories start to come out and
yes.
come to front. So I'm excited about the content that's going to start flowing from Jamaica and the Caribbean island.
And we have great writers. We have great writers, Don. We have a lot of people that do great writing, have great scripts. Most have gone on to start film projects and pilots. But whereas it is for animation, Agwe, I forgot her name. Beautiful lady. I met her when she was doing the production. It was Kevin Jackson that had introduced me to her and such. They were doing a nice 2D production. It's called Agway. I'll
Mm-hmm.
find a link to post to you after
Yeah, and we
interview.
can post
And
that
that
in
was a
the
nice
show.
project. Yeah, and that was a nice project because it crosses the line where we're looking at an African descendants and some sorcery. So
Yeah,
that was cool.
yeah,
So we have many great writers and script writers and such. So stories are not hard to come by or to be produced. We
yeah,
just need to network the funding and get these things into proper production, as in finishing, because
yeah,
finishing is going to play a part in this.
yeah,
It's not just the stories, it's how well we're going to package these things. So we
yeah,
look good as the Americans or the Asians,
yeah,
etc.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
packaging that's
yeah,
going to finish this.
yeah,
And so to do that, we need to integrate the whole industry, the VFX people, the multimedia people, and the writers, the voice actors. Everything has to everything comes in
yeah,
because animation involves so many things. You
yeah,
know, photography, everything comes in.
yeah,
So until we're able to network like that or come together and collaborate like that, the industry won't be growing as we expect until we can do that.
yeah,
See?
yeah,
So we have to learn that as well.
yeah,
Working together for one aim to achieve a quality production.
yeah,
That's very vital, and that's something that we have to begin now to let it reign in the heredity of our country and
yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I'm curious, what's
Tell me, Dan.
to this point, what's been the best piece of advice that you've been given that's kind of served you as you've gone along in this journey?
Throughout the years,
Yeah,
what I've learned from all my mentors is practice, repetition, and holding on to that vision of what you want to create and create it. No matter how long it takes, stick to that dream and create. Keep on creating. And that's what I've learned. I've never done anything outside of the visual arts. All the monies I've made over the years, all the things I've invested in, all my monies come through the visual arts. Now, I'm multidisciplined, but everything comes through the creative arts.
yeah,
And so for me, many may not have had that hold or strong to stay in. Some have to bow out and go do
yeah,
some other things. I stood ground and held on. So what I did, I switched disciplines. So I may be a photographer for a year or two, and I focus heavily on photography, and that becomes primary. Then the motion graphics, advertising, that becomes secondary. But I push primarily photography, and I
yeah,
go right up to the top with that, and I do the same. So I now I'm back into 3D and illustration and just focusing on that as primary.
yeah,
So
yeah.
for me, it has been interchanging. And once I used to do a lot of airbrushing. A lot of people may know
Yeah,
that. Some
airbrush.
people may not.
Yeah,
I was an
I still have
automotive
mine in the
muralist.
closet
Yeah.
there.
So I did automotive murals in Jamaica. I was doing automotive muraling.
Yeah,
So for corporate, I had done a lot of things for Sharon Williams, which you should have Sharon Williams in your company. We
yeah,
have a local Sharon Williams here.
yeah,
I did a lot of automotive bonnets, sprayed the bonnets for the automotive show. They all won. I did about seven, all
yeah,
seven won over the years. And I've been doing stuff like that, murals and such with the airbrush and all that. So
yeah,
I've gone through so many processes of creative discipline, all published work, all business, see, and so I've earned. But it's being able to interchange and not being afraid
yeah,
to swing with what I have to keep and maintain and
yeah,
sustain that creative ability
yeah.
because it's
Well,
not
so do
easy.
you feel like one discipline feeds your other passion?
It does for
Photography,
me. For me, it
photography
does.
feeds over to
Yes.
your 3D and really kind of
Yes, it
spurs all
does.
of them.
Yes, it does. For photography, it teaches me a lot about lighting and understanding a lot of things, surfaces, etc. And that comes on, well, I see how it works out when I'm doing something to render it
Yeah,
or I need textures. I can go make my own textures,
yeah,
so I can shoot it.
yeah,
If I need anything special, I can do it because I understand photography. And so the volumetrics and doing all that stuff inside Moya or whatever software it is, it's not hard for me because I have processes that I'm doing which is relating to these processes to light something,
yeah,
to set up an object or to light a scene. It's easy because I've been doing that within photography. learning how to master my space outdoors, working with lights or just a reflector.
Yeah.
So when I'm in the software doing these things, it becomes a little bit
Yeah.
easier for me to learn and master.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
And we're going to take a little look at some of his other work here. Let's jump on over and check out some of Raul's work for sure. Does some great modeling work.
Right. That's just,
So you do Maya, or is that
yeah, I
what you
use
use?
Moya.
Okay.
And that project that we're looking at is more an old technique of modeling. And that's just polygon modeling. There's
Yeah.
no ZBrush in this piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, such great
And
work.
this now,
Yeah.
this
Now
now is a little bit of sculpting.
I can imagine a nice animated short
Well,
or
that's what,
film on
that's it.
this character here.
That's it. That's my IP. One of them. Okay. And so it represents what I am about, which is being vegan, living a whole, what we call a primitive life, but it's
Yeah.
really living simple
Yeah.
and smart
Yeah.
and keeping fit and healthy.
Yeah.
So this character is going to be all that, and it's going to carry that vibe of my
Yeah.
vibration as a roots man. So I'm a Rasta man, but I more go with the terminology a roots man because I'm
Yeah.
more primitive. I have wooden bowls and I do
Yeah.
raw foods and all that. You know, a little bit cooked now, but that's it. This character is going to serve its purpose as in the IP.
Yeah. That's
See?
nice.
So
I
he
love
has a
it.
story, Don,
I
and I'm
know
going to
he
keep you up to
does.
date with his story.
I know.
And
Like I said, I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming,
yeah,
Raul.
so that's a 3D sketch, and this little character, it was from an assignment that I did when we were doing the same program, which is the Yedai program, which
Yeah.
the World Bank funded,
Yeah.
and the Korean Trust Fund as well,
Mm.
along with the government of Jamaica.
Yeah.
Okay, so I still have to give them their props.
Yeah.
But all these, and then we had a guy called Carlos Aguero, which was Circle C. He died recently, but he was the one who did the special effects and the direction behind the Michael Jackson video. Do you remember? You remember that
Yeah.
video
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
mark?
Yeah. With the
Yeah,
yeah.
that was Carlos Aguero. So I
Oh
was
wow.
speaking to him just weeks before he died,
Wow.
and he was asking for directors from Jamaica. That's a train. That's a bauxite train passing in my background
Yeah. Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
bauxite train. That we have tracks running against my community,
I
and
gotcha.
that's going all the way to Yorton now.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of history there, right?
This
This
is
little
a nice
character
one.
was, yeah, I did this character. We're doing a group project, and so I did this little character to add to that project. So
Yeah.
this was a little bit of modeling, texture, and rigging, and this is polygon modeling. My tutor for this, my mentor for this was J Pill. He's a Korean. So
Mm.
we had the Koreans that came in to teach us 3D for several months. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that was environment and character modeling and rigging.
Is there? I mean, do you prefer one or the other? Say, like, do you prefer animating, modeling, or do you like the whole
I
process?
like it all. Yeah, I like it all. I'm like all into things. I want to know how everything works. So, but I mean, as in specializing,
Yeah.
I like characters and environments, designing props or
Yeah.
environment and modeling characters. But I'm open. I want to learn how the rest of the process goes. So I'm always going to be
Yeah.
tiptoeing on all the other areas. That's
Yeah.
me,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because if I'm more skilled, I'm more employable. And if
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
more employable, it means I have a lot to share on a
Yeah.
team,
Yeah.
Right. So it makes me perfect team candidate. That's
Yeah.
illustration. I did that
Yeah.
for a friend of mine who was like my mother in college. Her name is Carell Jackson. She lives now in Atlanta. Beautiful Jamaican lady with her husband, who's also my friend. And I did this for her about 2019. She said, "Hey Bones, I need an illustration for Thanksgiving." So I just, blazed it up in my
Nice.
sketch pad and, just knocked it up in Illustrator in terms of creating those vector lines and
Yeah.
sent it to her. And that's it.
Well, like I said, it
You know?
seems like you're such a multi-disciplined designer and artist, and like I said, which only serves you because, like I said, it makes you that much
It keeps
more.
me active.
Yeah.
It keeps me active. This is for Sly and Robbie. That logo that we looked at, that
Oh
was for
yeah,
Sly
yeah,
and
yeah.
Robbie, two of our premier musicians, dear friends.
Some rigging
That's rigging.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. I
rigging. I
remember
did
much
the
of a
bird as
rigger.
well,
Yeah.
textured it,
That's a
but it
lot of
was,
rigs.
yeah, it was crazy stuff to get all those other things working. So, yeah, that's rigging.
And
So
like
I
I
tried to
said,
put
you
my,
do some
oh,
beautiful photography work. Like I said, I had to
yeah,
throw in the photography because as I
yeah,
was,
man.
going through your stuff, I say, wow, this is some pretty good photography. I love it.
I
And
have books coming down, stuff to publish about Jamaica, beautiful Jamaica. So I have books and merchandise stuff coming. They're coming. This is
uh,
Sensi Love. That's Bonnie Whaler's daughter. One of
oh
the
man,
last main, one of the trio, because it was really five to six of them.
yeah,
But as in the main singers of the Whalers,
yeah,
because Family Man is a bassist, Carlton Bart was a drummer. There was another female in that group. I forgot her name.
yeah,
But the three guys, which was Peter, Bunny, and Bob,
yeah.
of the three, Bunny is the one that recently died. You
Mm,
know,
yeah.
right?
Wow.
And that's his daughter. She's also a musician, and she does
Beautiful.
crochet
Yeah,
and make music. That's
yeah,
her crochet work that she's
yeah.
wearing.
Beautiful
Right.
work,
Beautiful
photography work.
lady.
Yeah.
True.
And
That's
like I
Richie
said, this was such
Spice.
a striking photo. Like I said, that I just loved it. It was a great
Yeah, man,
photo.
that's Richie Spice. So he is one of the younger brothers of the Bonner brothers,
Yeah,
which they're like Pliers, which is from Chakademus and Pliers. That's the oldest brother.
yeah,
And then you would have Spanner Banner. Then there's Snatcher Lion. There's Richie Spice. They're all brothers. They're all in music doing well. And so
gotcha.
I've done a lot of work with them in the past as well.
Well, do you feel like obviously, people know, Bob Marley and the Wailers. Do you feel like music was the thing that really kind of brought, Jamaica kind of in the islands kind of to the forefront back
Well,
then?
I would say yes, Don, but we can't forget the herbs. We can't forget the
No, we
herbs.
can't. We can't
The
forget.
herbs,
We
the
can't
herbs and the
forget the herbs.
relaxation. Jamaica as a retreat center. Let's look at Jamaica as a retreat center. And this is before the rise of the reggae music.
Yeah,
Let's look at Jamaica as a retreat center, somewhere where you come and relax and
yeah,
chill
yeah,
and get yourself sorted out and go back to your island wherever you would be
yeah,
coming in from. I would say Jamaica is a official retreat center,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And then we go into the music that has
yeah.
really brought this to life
Well, it's
officially.
definitely, and what I kind of, like I said, which I guess is why it's such a vacation spot for most
Yes.
tourists, is it's such a slower pace than what
Oh
you're
man,
used
everything is
to,
slowed down in
in
business,
the state.
everything. So our fast foods, as in your KFCs and your McDonald's or whatever is here, it doesn't work extremely fast as how you guys wrap burgers. No, we're at a slower pace wrapping burgers and stuff. It's all slow. Okay, I can
Oh
just tell you
man.
that. So we
Well,
have lines, long lines, but we're rapping and we're taking in some of your culture, but we're slow,
yeah, yeah,
officially slow. That's
yeah,
true.
yeah. Well, it's the island life. What can you expect? So, what was your? I mean, what was your purpose or meaning in why you started RD Multimedia? I mean, when was it that you officially said, "Okay, let me start a studio and let me do a
Yes,
studio"?
yes. What I would say, Don, that came by way of I had to do and I had to register the business eventually in order to deal with the government and
Yeah,
corporate on a more serious business level. And so I had to move from that freelance personality or contractual personality into more of a businessman where I
yeah,
represent with a company name or as a trading as name.
yeah,
And that gives you a lot more wings. And so there are requirements, when you have certain things, especially to do with the government, there are
yeah,
processes and they need to have the processes right. So your company needs to be registered, etc.
yeah,
And those were reasons to make sure that part of the business was tied up.
yeah, yeah,
So what I do, I'm an open house. I have a lot of freelance artists that can come on projects I'm doing. We expand and we customize the team based on what project is in. Simple stuff and
yeah,
lighter stuff I'll just take care of myself,
yeah, yeah.
but otherwise I have a flexible team. I expand and I reduce based on the necessity.
Gotcha.
But that was the reason for registering the business. And of course, there are things I'm doing otherwise outside of the island that they may need to know that you're registered and you're in check. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yes. So
Well, you
that's
also
legit.
no. Go
Tell me.
ahead.
Mhm. Oh, so that's just a legitimacy of the
Yeah.
business
Yeah.
registering,
Yeah.
right?
You also said, like you said, you're getting ready and in the middle of teaching and,
Yes.
doing that. What is it that you're kind of hoping to kind of outside of the artistic stuff and just the
hmm
things that you're teaching? What is it that you're hoping to really kind of impart on, the youth over there that you're teaching?
Well, health and discipline, and just being driven to know that when you have thoughts and ideas of what you want to be or what you want to create or make people have or get service with as in mass, you can hold that dream and maintain that balance and work towards getting there. But it only takes perseverance, self-motivation, and doing a little bit of blinkers
Yeah.
where like a racehorse, we're
Yeah.
just going straight for that goal. And that's what I want to depart, showing people how to really steer themselves by believing in what you do, believing in yourself, and not being afraid to recreate yourself as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes you may need to recreate who you are or your direction because
Yeah.
some things may not be working out.
Yeah.
But all it takes is just perseverance, discipline, and repetition. Everything requires repetition. A
Yeah.
martial artist, whatever you are,
Yeah.
pilot, whatever you are,
Yeah.
repetition makes you a master.
Yeah.
And that's all I try to depart and
Yeah.
want to depart on everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. So, are you? I mean, obviously, these are kind of, training classes and courses and things like that. But
Well,
do you feel like they're going to start once the government gets more behind the
yes.
industry? They're going to start building schools specifically or having specific courses.
Well, what I see happening, we have an institution here that's called I Create. They're doing wonderful things. A lot of their areas that they have set up in
Mm-hmm.
giving a service, as in I Create Group,
Yeah.
they are focusing on a lot of areas within the creative industry, like a little multimedia, editing, filming, photography. They're also doing 2D animation and a little 3D animation.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking areas of it as how we have it in the industry, as in specialized areas, and they're doing that under their program. The university is doing a generalist program as usual. The two universities which I mentioned, which is UE and UTEC,
Yeah.
the Edna Manley College for the Visual and Performing Arts, as in the visual school on that compound, is focused on 3D animation, 2D, and all the other areas.
Yeah.
And so within those institutions, that's working well. In the high schools, they're focusing on
Mm,
gaming,
yeah.
game coding and
Yeah.
development,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
cool
Yeah.
because that's a big industry
Yeah.
too.
It
So
is.
they're
It really
doing
is.
that in the high schools right now, along with the regular and all the other areas of the visual arts that are necessary.
Yeah.
So in the high school, we have that happening. In the universities, we have the 3D and other areas happening. And so I think it's just a matter more pop-up shops
Yeah.
doing more courses, like
Yeah.
specialized courses,
Yeah.
but not within, say, the educational system, as in tertiary,
Yeah.
vocational, and secondary, which is the
Yeah.
high schools.
Yeah.
So what I do know, I know the government will be coming with more programs because artists like myself and others will be pushing for this.
Mm.
So there will be programs coming, and I myself will have an institution
Yeah.
that will be teaching
Yeah.
various things.
Yeah.
So, like myself, I know there are other people like minded. We will
Yeah.
have it happening.
Yeah.
So, we're getting there. It's just that we have to do a lot of this out of pocket.
Yeah.
We have to do a lot of this. I wouldn't use the word charity, but we have to do a lot of this voluntarily.
Yeah.
And that's how we're going to make this thing happen. The students I have right now are excited. They're like balloons. Like if you prick them, they explode, man. They're like really excited.
Ready.
And they've
Ready.
only done just 1 week face up and
Yeah.
they're like all into it. So I can see that the energy and the vibe that has been displayed, or what the awareness that have been made on animation from, let's use 2016, 2017. There's been things happening before,
Yeah.
but from 2016, 2017, we have had this extra burst of interest.
Mm.
And this is where the government, the the shops, and we have had people who have traveled to go to festivals and such,
Yeah.
and there have been a nice awakening,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And so I think this is what we need to ride this vibe right now
Yeah.
and keep flowing on that. But for teaching, educating, we'll have pop-up shops,
Yeah.
we'll have different mentors
Yeah.
doing this, so it will happen, Don.
And I
It will
definitely
happen.
feel like that's really kind of, and it's not just so much a issue there. I mean, we feel it here in
Yes.
the grade school.
Yes.
Exposing kids and younger people to it will start to open up their eyes as to
Yes,
what
Don.
they can do, the paths they can go down. Um,
Yes, Don.
do you see, obviously, how do you feel that a lot of online access now has made it to where, like I said, you don't necessarily even have to go to a university? There's
Oh
so many
no.
great
Oh no.
online schools that teach specifically certain things, whether it's animation,
Yes.
gaming, this and that. How do
Concept
you
art,
feel that works
illustration.
with Jamaica in doing that?
Well, what I would say, Don, a lot of our Jamaican artists, they have been active online, and they have been finding resources and many workshops and various things online to work with to improve and develop on the areas that they like.
Yeah.
And sometimes they may run into something, research it, and then they find these programs to get involved in. So that's very much on the table where every Jamaican is doing that. We work the YouTubes, we attend schools if we have the money to pay for these things
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
We do short courses if we can access and pay for those things online.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
And that's happening, and that's influencing a lot of what's happening on the ground
Yeah.
here in Jamaica. So I do that a lot too, Don. I'm
Yeah.
always studying, I'm always reading, and I'm always creating. And I've been doing that ever since. It doesn't stop, and
No.
I'll never stop learning. And so that's also something I try to depart on everyone. I never stop learning. We as creative people, if you think you're there, well, I think you're done when you're there, because there's so much to learn. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is endless in learning.
Yeah.
So whenever someone tells me that they're there or they're it, I'm like, okay, brother, because I know that's stagnation. Yeah, that's stagnation right there,
Yeah.
because we always learn and we
Yeah.
continue to learn and evolve.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anything that I do and it looks really good at this point in time today, Don, I know that within weeks or months after, I'm going to be way better than that,
Yeah.
Don.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so much more I'll be meticulous about or learn.
Yeah.
You see? The
Yeah.
anatomy, we can
No.
never finish learning this,
No.
to
No.
study this. So we
It's a
can only get better
progressive
at it,
thing. Yeah.
but there's so much. When we find
Yeah.
something else, there's another little muscle,
Yeah.
another little thing
And
that fits that we
somebody
didn't realize.
always knows something more than you that you
More,
can
of
learn from.
course,
So
Don.
it's like you said, it's a never ending journey, and you're just that's the only way that you hone your skills is to continually do it consistently, like you were saying,
Yes,
just all the time, practicing, practicing, practicing. And even
yes,
when
Don.
you think you've gotten to the best that you can be, there's somebody
Still
else
more.
that knows something more that can teach you.
Yes,
So it's just,
there'll always be somebody better than you,
yeah, yeah,
and they're always going to be learning something else new, and you'll never reach their level because they're continuing to grow as well.
yeah,
So we only grow, and we
yeah,
influence everyone that's coming behind us,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
grow, we keep
yeah,
growing. So that's it. It's I move to that tier, next person move to that tier, and
yeah.
we're just like a
Uh,
whole chain reaction of stuff
Change,
happening. You know?
everything
Yeah.
feeds off, which is why I'm so excited, like I said, of the stories and things that are going to start coming. Like I said, not only from the islands,
Yes.
I've had a number of guests from Africa. Just
Yes.
that
Oh gosh,
that
the
space
African
is starting
continent.
to grow, and so
Mm-hmm.
just the whole diversity of stories that are starting to come out, different content creator. And I like to say this is such a great time that we live
Yes.
in, because you have these channels now that you
So
can put
much.
out your own stuff. YouTube,
You yeah, there's no hassle to
Instagram, you
get
got
things
so
out.
much access.
And so
Yeah.
you see, what we have to do, we have a lot to our advantage. So when people say they don't have opportunities, I'm not down for that.
Yeah.
We have so many ways of being independent where
Yeah.
you create something, work on it, and there's so many resources to put this out free
Yeah.
to show.
Yeah.
And then if people engage it, then you can move on to other level of the
Yeah.
business. So we're not hampered as once where you had to deal with execs and
Yeah.
this had to be done and this had to be this way to go through a certain channel and then it
Yeah.
can be blocked. We're not dealing with that anymore.
Yeah.
For music or the creative industry in general, we
Yeah.
have platforms we can share on.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have platforms that can give us that boost or boom.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
must utilize those to our strengths now because
Yeah.
we have the resources to help us.
Yeah. And
So we create,
it
tell me,
almost plays to your advantage and gives
yes,
you it gives like I said, it gives the content creator so much more power than they thought they
yes,
had.
had
Because like I
before,
said, if you built if like just for instance, if you were a filmmaker or animator
yes,
and had your own YouTube channel that had a
yes,
million followers and this and that, big companies are going to start looking at you and start coming, which puts you in a position. I've already got this big base of people that are
yes,
watching my content. So I think we as content creators have so much more power now than we realize that we have.
yes. All it takes, Don, is organization, understanding what it means to produce content, who it appeals to, and the mass that you need to create. Because if you're going for a certain mass, you need to understand what is it that's presented to that set of people, which is mass,
Yeah.
right? And you need to know how to structure that content properly, where we cannot have expletives or
Yeah.
violence or certain things
Yeah.
unless it's for a certain group
Yeah.
or it goes into a certain tier. So
Yeah.
choosing and knowing how the industry works and how it deals with taking in content is important. So we must do those background research in order to know what platform we would like to have an interest in us.
Yeah.
And once we do that groundwork, we create the content within a certain order in terms of being able to be recognized or have some kind of chit chat or business relationship with people who might have that interest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our background work is very essential in order to know how we need to deploy
Yeah.
ourselves onto that area
Yeah.
of the business you want to be in.
Yeah.
We must know how to handle that part of the business, and that comes by research and understanding fully what the networks want, what they look for, or how you can be across multiple networks with one content.
Yeah.
Because your content may work on some network while some network may have a little difference.
Yeah.
So if you're able to bridge that gap where you're like really generic across those same content takers, then you're good. Or you may be able to limit yourself to a smaller taking. But the option is there, Dan.
Yeah.
It's just for us to research, and once we research and understand what we're doing and how to sell to the people that we want to sell and appeal to,
Yeah.
um, we just go for it. And
Yeah,
that's what
like
I'm
I
about.
said, everybody, like I said, that's just joining and jumping in and tuning in, having a great sit down talk with my friend, Mr. Raul, multimedia visual artist and 3D generalist from Jamaica, the favorite island that we love for sure. I tell you what, I, while I was working for my friend doing printing T-shirts.
Printing T-shirts,
Yeah,
yes.
I fell in love with roti. I have to say,
Oh man,
I
that's the
love
Indians now.
roti. Yeah, I
Hmm.
love roti.
Right.
It
That's
was
the
just fun.
Indians.
Yeah.
I'm a lover of roti too, Dan. I used
Oh
to get a
man.
lot of that when I was young. I used to have some special ladies that make roti for
Oh
me.
man,
Beautiful
yeah.
Indian ladies. Yes.
It's funny because he used to have, like I said, he used to have a certain lady come by every
Yes,
Thursday. She
man.
made them homemade and come into the
Yes.
shop. And I was like, oh man, I got to get 3 or 4 of them.
And you're gonna get that with your curry, whatever they're gonna curry. Yeah, whatever food they're gonna curry, whether it's mango,
Oh
meat,
man, for
whatever.
all the
But you're
for
gonna
all the
get that with your
viewers
curry.
out there, roti is for lack of a better word, you could almost say like a meat pie, whether it's goat or
Yeah, man.
chicken
It
or
goes with
whatever.
so much.
It's almost
It's a
like a
wrap.
meat pie, but man, it's words can't describe. What can I
No,
say?
man, it's delicious. As one
Words
of our
cannot
food
describe.
mentors here would say, it's delicious and nutritious.
Oh man,
Yeah,
oh
that's
man,
Teutimat, one
oh
of our
man.
food generals here in the island,
Jeez.
vegan, one of our master vegans. And he was a doctor, but he's now strictly into herbal stuff and
Gotcha,
continuing with science more on a naturopath kind of vibe.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Um,
great
I'm
brother.
I'm curious. What do you
Tell me,
feel
Dan.
like the biggest misconception that outsiders have of Jamaica in the industry as a whole, creative industry?
When you say misconception the outsiders may have, is it quality of work or is it content not
Well, what are
being
your
enough?
which do you think it is? Do you feel like
Okay,
it's quality? Do you feel like we don't think that we're going to get like Disney quality?
control. What I think we may have a slight problem with is executing with quality, but as a larger team, we can produce quality down.
Yeah,
In any area that I will be able to mention, we can produce quality. We can produce quality content too, as in the script, etc., stories, right?
yeah,
But I think what we have locally, maybe as a problem, that I think is recognized from the outside easily, is consistency. If we look at 2D animation, there are lots of flaws I know international people will pick up on immediately. So they'll see nice styles, but then you'll see the styles fluctuate throughout the
yeah,
whole
yeah,
animation.
yeah,
And you'll know that several illustrators are working on this that are of different level and skill. Now, the meticulous eye for the director of that project, which is the director that's going to look at the art
yeah,
to support the director that's running the project as the person with ideas, but that person with the meticulous eye for the production, as in the animation, the character development, the backgrounds, etc., that keenness is where we might be failing a bit to understand how to make an animation seamless.
yeah,
Because if you want to be like a Disney, a Pixar, or
yeah.
anything out there, we need to be thinking, realizing, and visioning and producing as one.
Hmm.
When the
Hmm.
production is finished, you can't tell who is working
Yeah, who
where, or
worked on
you
what?
can't tell
Yeah,
that 10 illustrators did this or 1,000.
yeah, yeah,
You just know that you're looking at some great 2D animation
yeah,
and you're hardly seeing much mistakes,
yeah,
because we'll be able to identify mistakes as professionals, but they're so rare and so less.
yeah,
See, we know that we can do a better production next time, yes, but at least visually there's comfort. See, so that's where we need to get at doing productions on a broader scale locally. That's where we're going to need to do some more work.
hmm,
And that comes about done by binding more, believing ourselves more, and as I say, practice, 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 repetition.
yeah,
We have to continue doing this over and over, and then we have to look at what we have done, be meticulous about it, be bold enough to correct it, and move forward.
yeah, yeah,
That's where it's at for me. For 3D, the same.
yeah,
VFX, the same. Anything we're doing, filming, same. It goes right across the
yeah,
board. So
yeah,
we have to learn to work as larger units or as a core unit, but we produce seamlessly as one.
yeah,
We can't tell who is doing what. We just have a quality production at the end of the day, marketable, and
yeah,
that's the business.
yeah,
That's how the business is going worldwide, globally. That's how it works.
yeah. So, do
Okay?
you feel like, with that said,
Yes.
in all the courses and classes, even from the grade school level to the university, do you feel like that's something that's going to need to be more instilled of having
Yes.
that consistency across the board in the teaching
Yes.
and training of the younger people coming up?
Yes, yes, Don. From the classroom into professional workshops, etc. Or sometimes, remember, people. I teach a lot of people various things,
Yeah,
contracts, lots of things. I share various things for various types of art. I'm always sharing, but those are like one to one. Okay, but
yeah,
these people learn because I'm telling them the real thing that I may have come upon or learn or know. I show them real time stuff. So I don't play around. I
Yeah.
give it to them like that. As soon as it sparks and they hit that nail, they're like, yo, bro, this was so, they feel so thankful because it's shared as it is happening. And they go do it and it's happening. And they're like finding it unbelievable that I can just share real time results or
Yeah.
information, which is nothing for me to do. The more I share, the better I get too.
Yeah.
So for me, it works like that. Most people may not be doing that, but for
Yeah.
me, it works like that. But not to slip away from your point, what we have to do within the schools, in professional workshops, we have to make sure the people who are doing this, or the people who are doing this, they have to be very meticulous. So we get the information across well, we teach well, make sure these people are learning well, and that's how we're going to have consistency throughout the industry. The practitioners going into the institutions, they need to go in with a particular mindset of understanding and being meticulous about quality and output. Because at the end of the day, it's all about that. It's
Yeah.
quality and output, and the last thing that you do that stands. See?
Yeah.
And that's just a time old theory, but it's so great. It's never going to end. So we have to know how to put our best foot forward in that direction, doing quality, being meticulous, and then we have to get the right people who can give this. And that's how we're going to take off on another whole side of that pyramid to slide down smoothly.
Yeah. Yeah.
See?
Gotcha. Gotcha. Man, this has been, like I said, probably one of the more interesting conversations that I have had on the show,
Yes.
Raul. Like I said, so enjoyed, like I said, diving into just the industry and the culture of what's coming out of Jamaica now. And like I said, it really did kind of stick with me as I was going through the Kingston,
The
festival,
festival.
just
Hmm.
all the things that are starting to happen. And so, like I said, I'm super excited and encouraged with the content and the stories that are going to start coming out. Like, and I think Africa kind of fits along the same thing as far as what
Oh,
you were
yes.
saying, the
Similar.
quality of the
Yes.
content, even though there's great artists and
Yes.
great writers and content creators, just over here everybody's used to Disney, everybody's used to Pixar, everybody's
Yes.
used to those kind of things, and it's anime and all of that type of stuff. They're used to seeing a certain type of thing, but
Yes.
like you were saying, when you can sit and watch a film and know that there are thousands of people that worked on it, but you can't
Yes.
tell it's all one seamless thing. I think is a
Yes.
thing that I think a lot of the uh, uh, other countries are kind of
Ye-
having outside of Japan. I mean, they've set that kind of standard, but countries like Africa and the
Yes.
islands are
India.
yeah, and India are starting to kind of figure, okay, there has to be this consistency and quality that goes along with that, especially if they're going out to try to get them like mainstream type
Right.
of look and exposure.
Right.
Well, do you
Because,
feel, and to that point, do you feel
yes.
like that's a necessarily a bad thing that people are used to, say, Disney, Pixar, or that's what they're expecting? Because there's so many
Um,
different
hmm.
types of animation and
Right.
such.
Right.
It really does
Right.
boil down to the story and how
Right.
well the story is, as far as,
Yes.
well, because claymation, I mean, is
Ah,
such great
stop motion is
animation,
hardly is
stop
hardly
motion.
is hardly looked at in the
Yeah,
Caribbean, and we can do a lot of it. But I'm gonna address that point you had, which is very important. When it comes down to style or technique, I'm a believer that we have styles and technique we can create.
yeah,
So it won't look like a Disney character, where it has to have a certain eye and things
yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah,
be positioned. No, I don't believe in that 100%. I like what Disney does and everybody else does, but I don't think we have to follow that. We can construct our character, create what we want, whatever style we want. But what's important at the end of the day is how consistent it operates. The locomotion must have a consistency.
Yeah.
That
Gotcha.
character walking can have its style. We may not be going fluid. We may be going like patch, but
Yeah.
it must be consistent. That's all that matters. It's the consistency. Disney, consistent.
Yeah.
Pixar, consistent.
Yeah.
See? It's consistency. DreamWorks, consistent.
Consistent. Yeah.
Netflix, consistent.
Yeah.
So if we're not practicing consistency, then we're going to have a problem. See? And that's all that really needs to happen. We create our style, introduce it, right? But consistency is important. That's where the meticulous falling off for me is
Mm.
we're not consistent enough. So brothers who need help with the production may be a little bit afraid to say, "Hey, we need some help with the characters and animation on this
Yeah. Yeah.
project,"
Yeah.
and that's where we lack some consistency. So we have to learn how to collaborate or ask for help because we have other brothers that can do some good work.
Yeah.
We need to call them in,
Yeah.
get them in on board. We may need to volunteer sometimes. It may not all be about money if we want to grow this.
Yeah.
We already have the asset, which is the talent,
Yeah.
and we need to look beyond the money. We need to work the talent and the assets. That's the talent, the
Yeah.
asset to create the production parts and pieces, and we collaborate and get that thing done with quality. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to get picked up.
Yeah.
That work that we put in as a collaborative effort, it doesn't all have to be about money. We all have the talent, and the money doesn't lack the talent right now. It doesn't lack.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can create because we have the resources to create on and the tools to create on. Therefore, without funding, we can push time in however we can do it. We can find that time, collaborate, and help to finish out projects and dreams for our other brothers and sisters. But we have to collaborate, Don. Okay?
Yeah.
But I don't believe that we have to work like a
Yeah.
Pixar or a Disney in terms of their style per
No.
se.
Yeah.
I don't think so because I mean, when they take something like a Pepper Pig that comes in and it's doing well, that comes from Asia,
Yeah.
it's working. SpongeBob doesn't look anything like what Disney would have been creating in the
Yeah.
past,
Yeah.
but it's working.
Working. Yeah.
See, and that creator, he has died now, but that creator came up with this concept and pushed it through. So I don't think style is a problem or look. And that if something is not necessarily Disney, it may be a little bit hard to pick up. I think worldwide people want to see something, and if
Yeah.
it's creative and nice, if it operates fluid or consistent with whatever style you're using,
Yeah.
I think that's what takes. That's what you will purchase. That's what people will be involved in. It's the consistency,
Gotcha.
that look of the production being consistent.
Gotcha.
That's it for me at the end of the day, Dan. That's it. That's the
Gotcha.
key.
Consistency. And like I said, we've had such a great conversation. You definitely want to make sure that you get connected with Raul. Such, like I said, a multifaceted and talented media person. But you can get with him and check out his info. He's on Instagram at RD Multimedia. I think RD Multimedia on most of his channels. Twitter, he's on. Check out his website and store. He's got a lot of great stuff on there for you. Also on LinkedIn, which was how we connected on LinkedIn. But
The great LinkedIn.
yes, love LinkedIn.
Man, the Lincoln
Red
tree.
Bubble, you can check him out. All this information is going to be in the show notes, so you'll be able to, if you don't catch it here, you'll be able to pick it up in the show notes for sure on the YouTube channel. But Raul, like I said, I'm not only excited about like I said, what's coming out of the islands and the Caribbean, but super
Yes.
excited to maybe have the opportunity to work together on some stuff for
Yeah.
sure.
There are things happening, Don.
Yeah,
There are opportunities and things happening. Corporate gives out a lot of stuff.
yeah,
Government gives out a lot of stuff. And
yeah,
I'm just going to be frank with you. Entertainment industry has a lot of potential. A lot of
yeah,
stuff can happen through
yeah,
entertainment
yeah,
industry.
yeah,
We're not lacking to create.
yeah,
I'm only saying that if we get better at consistency and on a larger scale of expanding that consistency, and then we're going to be okay.
Yeah, yeah,
We're going to
no,
be there with
no.
the big boys, rubbing
Oh,
shoulders,
I
and
have no
that's
doubt.
it.
I have no doubt in that for sure. Because, like I said, just from the enthusiasm and the
Yes,
passion that I saw just from the festival down there, I
yes,
know that, like I said, the industry is just going to continue to grow in
it's
that
right.
area. So that's why I'm super excited about it. Uh, like I said, make sure that you tune in to check out the episode. This was a great show. Like I said, I enjoyed diving into a lot of
Yes,
the really more deeper topics and things that we talked about, and super excited to have you back on the show, Raul, and
yes,
the things that are going to be coming from you. If you
yes,
could
Don.
you hang out in the green room for just a minute
Sure,
while I close out the show? That
sure, I
way, after
will.
the show, I can talk to you and thank you again. But
And
everybody,
one step before you go,
yeah,
Jamaica is ripe for the picking, Don. It's ripe for the picking, okay? And we're expecting all that can come, all the links that can come. The major studios, they can find some of our creative individuals and get some of us into their programs
yeah,
or
yeah,
contracts. We're here for the picking, and that will help us to grow as well.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
want to put that in because
No, and
your
I think,
platform is large, you know?
like I said, just from
Yes,
some of the sponsors of the festival, I know
yes,
that even more studios are going to start coming down there and really start not only taking out but giving to the
yes,
community
man.
to really, like I said, train in a more polished and consistent way, like you were talking, how to
Yes,
produce a great animated film or short.
yes,
So I definitely see, like I said, Netflix, Disney, Sony, all of them coming down there and putting into the culture in the Caribbean area. Not just that. Like I said, they're already starting to do it over in Africa. So
right.
just all these companies now, which is what I was alluding to earlier in the show. It was unfortunate, like because of the social unrest, that it really took them doing it and really stepping out and doing it. But I think now they're really starting to put a concerted effort in really going out and cultivating diverse
Yes,
stories, content creators,
yes,
and things to really, like I said, make this one world that it should be reflected
yes,
by the people that are here in this world. So that's
yes,
why I'm excited about this time because, like I said, I do start to see a lot of studios now really starting to step up more and
yes.
really go out and cultivate the talent that is out there and has always been out there.
Right. We're right for the picking, Don, and Jamaica is open. The artists are open. They're excited and they're ready. They're problem solvers. They're willing to learn. If the information comes, they'll take it, and whatever is to be done at the end of the day, they'll produce it.
You know.
And that's what I can say about our people. We have the mindset where once we want to get into something or do it, it's going to be done well. It's so if the great studios come and these professionals share and they want us to be a part or a wing into their production, Jamaica is a nice place for that investment. You
Awesome,
know,
awesome, for sure.
it's just minor things to kink out with the government, and we're good. The policies,
Gotcha.
man, the
But
policies, bro.
but to that I will tell, and like I said, everybody, including like I said, the younger ones coming up in Jamaica, don't wait. Practice your skill. There's content, there's channels out there for you to put your work. You don't have to wait for Disney to come in to get better at
No,
what you do.
no,
Put your work
no,
out there, and if you're as you get good, they'll come to you. So,
definitely,
like Raul said, consistency and practice makes progress. So practice
every
your
time,
skill and get better.
every time.
Again, uh, Raul, I appreciate you so much, brother, being on the show. Like I said, thank you so
One
much
love.
for connecting with me. like I said, hang out in the green room for a second while I close out the show. But everybody, please, I hope you enjoyed the show. Please help me give my guest and friend a big thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, man. Respect. One love.
Guys, it's been, like I said, another great episode that I've enjoyed so much. Like I said, Raul is a super cool guy that I'm just so thankful that we became friends and made this connection. And so I'm looking forward to having him back on the show, doing work with him, eventually getting down to Jamaica and hanging out in person. What can I say? But I hope you enjoyed the show. Like I said, it's been another great one. Again, make sure that you connect with me on. I'm pretty good at this. Connect with me on all my channels here. I definitely want to hear from you. I definitely want you to be a part of the show and stay engaged for sure. Like I said, we were, I think, having technical difficulties with the show on LinkedIn. So I will be posting rebroadcast on just LinkedIn, probably tomorrow, for sure, of the show. Like I said, it's just LinkedIn sometimes has issues. I don't know why, but also, like I said, you can find us on Facebook and YouTube, LinkedIn. I always kind of encourage my viewers to get connected on the YouTube channel. You can check out this episode and all the other great episodes that I've had. Give a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're notified of when great new content comes on to the channel for sure. Again, like I said, the show is continuing to level up, get better, looking for sponsors to the show that really kind of align with the message. But we always appreciate the ones that are just helping to support the channel. So if you are so inclined, please, you can find me at Don Terrell 65. Give a few dollars here and there to help me to continue to level up the show. All this information will be on the channel or YouTube channel show notes, so you can make sure that you connect with me there as well. Again, make sure that you get plugged into the new Facebook group, facebook.com com /groups/ the color of motion. Again, like I said, I think next week's show is the last show that I will be broadcasting on my personal page, and moving forward, the show will be broadcast from the group page. So I definitely want you to be connected in the group. We got a lot of great people starting to come in. All the guests are connecting in there. We got some new members in there. So I don't want you to miss out for sure. Make sure that you tune in next week. It's going to be another great episode. So looking forward to my next guest, Everett Downing, executive producer and director with Netflix. He was also also had to worked on the Oscar-winning Hair Love last year. Also a part of that. So super excited to have him on the show next week. It's going to be a great episode for sure. As always, I appreciate everybody that's tunes into the show, checks us out, supports us for sure. And like I always tell you, my goal is to continue to level up the show. So I want to thank you for joining me for another great Saturday afternoon episode. It was a good one. So I will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Everybody have a great week. Be nice, be kind. It doesn't cost anything. and I will see you next Saturday. Cheers.